it's really a cool thing, to come out and get the division. It's kind of a double-edged sword though, because obviously, we play Saturday night against Tampa Bay. We got the first place schedule next year, which is not going to be easy. But I think what it does is it just shows these guys that if they work hard, do things the right way, they give themselves a chance. And again, we got a young group of guys, a lot of young guys that have played a lot of football, meaningful football, and this is cool for them. This really is.
Ron, what did you think of the way Alex Smith played?
Well, I thought he started out really well. I thought there were a lot of good things that happened. I think at one point we got a little too cautious, I think, and I shouldn't say cautious, but I think Scotty was trying to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and just trying to take care of him, because just kind of, just trying to make sure we kept him upright. I thought he did a good job, especially in the 2-minute drive. The opening drive and the 2-minute drive are about as good as it gets. It really is. And it just kind of shows you, that when we're clicking, we can click. So, there's room for improvement for us as a football team, though.
Was there ever any consideration to change quarterbacks, given his limitations with the injury and everything?
I thought about it, but again, we had an idea. We're trying to execute it for this week, and I thought it worked out well enough.
Hey, Ron, you said time and time again this year, this has been one of the most challenging seasons you've ever coached, and now celebrating division title. I just have to wonder, is this one of the most rewarding seasons you've ever had?
Yeah, you could say rewarding. Just because, again, it goes back to the hard work, and I praise the players, I praise the coaches and the support staff. And really I want to give a big shout out to our coaches, because, they picked up a lot of slack for me. Just having to fight through, things that I did, they were there, and they did a tremendous job, and it just shows you, that when you work together as a team, man, anything can be accomplished.
Hey, Ron, given the way this season has kind of been a fight for you guys and a slog to get through it all, was it appropriate that the game would kind of almost be like that too, that it would have to be kind of a grind right to the end? Yes,
and I'm glad it was a grind right to the end, because, if you take a group of players lightly, that they're gonna come up and bite you. And I'll tell you what, got a lot of respect for Philadelphia. Those guys could have rolled over, and they didn't. They fought us. And you gotta give them credit. You really do, and for them playing the way they did and making it be a fight.
Hey, Ron, could you talk about your decisions on both of those fourth downs on that final offensive drive, the one you went for, obviously, and then the one you were going to go for and then drew them off sides, and then the one you didn't go for?
Well, the thing that concerned me is that they got a young quarterback with a young arm, can throw it a long way, and you just don't want to give them a chance with, a 15-yard penalty, a pass interference, and then next thing you know, they're throwing the ball in the end zone. As we've seen, anything can happen. Plus, got a lot of faith in what our defense is doing. I really do. I think it's interesting, because we've come out in the second half and our defense has really shut people down. And that's one of the things that we saw today. That third quarter, they were pretty stifling. And then I just felt if we, with a minute left and no timeouts, if we can just keep it in front of us, we had a chance to win.
With Terry McLaurin, how did you make the decision for him to play, and what does it say about him that he was able to go, given everything he's gone through?
He's a tough dude. He is. He's a heck of a young man. Just, he put it on the line for his guys, and that you really appreciate. He did everything he could. He got the treatment, the extra treatment.
Hey, Ron, what did you make of Nate Sudfeld coming on the game for Hurts?
Say it again.
What did you make of Sudfeld coming on the game for Hurts?
Well, you know what? The rumor was they wanted to see what they had. So we figured at some point they were going to bring him in. And, again, as I said, Sudfeld's got a good arm. He's got a strong arm. And that's kind of what helped me with the fourth down decision to go ahead and see if we can just punt him down inside and, make him throw the ball in front of us, tackle, and hopefully get out of the game with the win.
What did you make of the turnover on downs and the end zone over there by your defense?
Well, that was huge, and it's interesting because, that's kind of them. They have the analytics of going for things, going for it on fourth down, stuff like that. So that was a huge play, especially after the interception we got. Then to be able to stop them, that was big for our guys.
Ron, let's ask you about, just the way the season has gone, how hard it's been, and so the game kind of playing out that way. I guess I'm kind of curious, what are your thoughts about the fact that, we've talked about the two different tales of the first and second half. The team gets its first opening drive touchdown in this game in particular. Obviously, you guys need it. Can you kind of talk about just the irony of some of the situations that happened in this game?
It's funny you bring that up, Rhea. I was thinking about the irony of it all when we went in at halftime. That we started as well as we did, and then we gave up 14 quick points, and then all of a sudden we had the opportunity to take the lead. And I just kept thinking to myself how ironic that was. But then for us to finish the way we did with the defense bowing its neck the way they did that, I think that was kind of emblematic of how the season has gone for our defense and how resilient our team has been.
Hey, Ron, because you do have a young team, how did you see them approach this game throughout the day? Did you sense nerves? Did you sense excitement? What did you see from them?
I'll be honest, I was a little concerned. We did a stretch today. We have one of the ballrooms that we set up. We set up 10 stations. So we keep the guys separated. We gave them assigned times. They had to come in and rotate in and rotate out so they could, for the social distancing portion of it. And what happened was, as I was kind of walking around, it was kind of interesting because they had a lot of energy. And I started wondering, I hope we didn't spend all this energy, here. And so that had me a little concerned. But then when we came out at the start of the game, I thought we had good energy. So I thought they handled that pretty well.
And then, Ron, we talked all week, obviously, about whether Alex Smith will be even able to play with his calf strain, and then Terry McLaurin with the high ankle sprain and things of that nature. And again, of course, that first drive, they come out and give you guys the early lead in the game. I guess to a certain extent, can you just talk about the emblematicness of the fact that these two guys who've been so important to the success of this team coming out and setting the tone early?
I think that's huge. I really do, because Terry's been such an integral part for just 2 seasons, and for him to come up like he did, that was huge. And it just shows everybody who he is, that he's going to lay it all out on the line for his teammates. As far as Alex is concerned, the guy that, has battled back to where he is today and to get us into the playoffs, that was huge. It really was. And I think that just kind of, shows a little bit about who we are.
Hey, Ron, can you take us into the celebration a little bit? Kind of what was said? What was the opposite was a joyous mood, but kind of some things that stood out to you?
Well, I think the big thing that stood out to me was just really them. How euphoric they are. They know it's been hard. They know it's been tough, and they know that so much has been thrown at them, and for them to come out on top, that was a big thing for those guys.
Ron, how important was it to get that touchdown at the start, just before halftime? It feels like you've talked about that before.
Well, it was huge because that put us up on top, and that really just kind of gave us a chance to win. I mean, that's how huge it was. I think going in at halftime and listening to Jack talk to the defense, basically tell them, hey, guys, we've got more than enough points to win. That I thought was pretty good because I thought the guys responded.
Ron, you told us, when you guys were making the roster decisions on who's going to make the active, that Alex Smith and you had a conversation before you decided the initial 53, where he not necessarily pleaded or begged you, but he really tried to, enforce the idea that he was ready to play. When you think back to that conversation, to the fact that he's now 5-1 as a starter and a big part of the reason that you guys are now in the playoffs, I guess, can you just think back and just like this whole situation, how it's kind of played out?
I did actually do that the other day, thinking about when we had made the decision he was going to start. He kind of gave me that same little conversation about how he was going to be there, how he wanted it. And I felt good about that, you know, and that's pretty much what he did when we had our conversation back in at the end of August going into September. Well, he wanted it. And it was the same thing. I felt just talking to him on Saturday morning. He went in, we met with the doc, you know, she took a look at him, and when finished up, he just looked at me and says, "Hey, I'm going to be there. No matter what, I'm going to be there." And he was ready to roll.
Last one, guys.
Hey,
You've said that you wanted all of us to judge the team by what they did on the field. So now that you've gotten through that season and you've won the division, how do you judge your group?
By how they handle it. Now, I think we got a feel for who they are, how tough and resilient they can be. Now let's see how they handle it. That's the next thing. You know, again, you know, don't judge us from where we've been, judge us from where we're going. So let's see how we handle this going forward. You know, this is a big opportunity for us. You know, I love what they said about just getting in, and that's all we needed was a chance to get in. We'll see what happens. We're going to play against a very good football team with, you know, a lot of good football players, and so I'm excited about it.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
guys.
Thank you, Ron.